well, brothers. It is the 5th month of the 6 month of growth. We are almost done, man. We are almost done with these 6 months, man. Hell, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I first started this obviously in September, right? And in the beginning, right, it was cool. Around November, the summer started getting kind of tough, and that's, you know what I'm saying, like, it was crazy, man. I was thinking that March is so far away, man. March 13th so far away, and it's almost here, man. That's really insane. Went through a lot of growth. You know what I'm saying? Went through a lot of growth thus far. And here we are, man. And let me tell you, between the 4th month and the 5th month, man, it was definitely tough, man. Obviously, I'll get into it in this video. So, what gameplay do I have for y'all today, man? So, Hogwarts Legacy, man. Hogwarts Legacy had just come out. At the time of me recording this, it officially came out, because I'm recording this over the weekend. Y'all are seeing this on Monday, February 13th. I'm recording this on Saturday, February 11th. Literally right after I went live. So when y'all watch this in the future, y'all won't have no idea what I'm talking about. But I just went live, right? Did a gaming stream on Saturday, February 11th. And I'm recording this right after. So I don't have the most energy, but we're gonna rock it out, right? So as I said, man, Hogwarts Legacy officially came out yesterday, February 10th. But I started playing on February 9th. I got the deluxe edition, so I was able to play a little bit early. But I got the deluxe edition late, so even though I didn't play 3 days before the 10th, I played a day before. So far, the game is pretty awesome, man. I was never one to be into the Harry Potter books. I've read them, but I was never really into them. I didn't finish the entire series of books, but I did watch all the movies, and I love the series, man. I love Harry Potter, you know, and the parts of the books that I did read, Chamber of Secrets, like I read the first couple, and what I did read, I did enjoy, and the movies just kind of like carry forward the visual effects, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, as a Harry Potter person, very great game, man. I'm not too far in. This is the part I'm in that you see in the video right now. So I didn't get too far in, but so far so good, man. It's a really good game, and people are even saying it might be considered like game of the year. And I'm not too sure about that. I mean, I can see it, right? It's still the beginning of the year. It's like February. Yeah, it's like February right now. But then again, Elden Ring came out early in the year, and it became game of the year. So it won game of the year. So who knows, right? Who knows? But yeah, man. I mean, because you got Spider-Man 2 come out this year. Wolf Among Us is not gonna be game of the year, but that's coming out this year. I mean, who knows? But this game is pretty fun so far. So anyways, man, 5th month update, right? 5th month update. How am I? So, I definitely did go through a lot of challenges, man. Where can I start? So, when the 6 months are over, and I post the transformation view of all my body clips, right, from September to March 13th, you will see there'll be a point in time around February where the results either slowed down or they might have stopped for a little bit before picking back up. So pretty much what happened was, let me pause it. I just got a text. What was that text about? All right, so I just got a text about something. But pretty much, man, yeah, so y'all remember the headaches I was dealing with back in 2021? Actually, late 2021. It was like, I went my second trip to Orlando and came back, and yeah, like when I got back, like I was dealing with headaches from like when I got back, so like around the end of September to like February-ish, so like September 2021 to February 2022. I was doing like basically daily headaches, and I couldn't work out for a while and stuff like that. Like, and I gained a lot of weight at the time, stuff like that. So pretty much, those headaches came back. They came back for about 2 weeks or so, and I was still working out. Right, I was still working out. I just tweaked my workouts that I would tweak the workouts I was doing, so I couldn't do as many as I usually would because they would induce headaches. They wouldn't make the headaches worse. So yeah, it got to a point where I was in maintenance mode. I was maintaining my strength, stuff like that, but I wasn't actually doing much to get results because, again, like I was doing the heck stuff with that, but I still wanted to work out even, with doing the hex. I didn't want to revert back to how I was before. So you might see a little point in time where, you know what I'm saying, there's a little delay in the results, stuff like that, little changes, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. That's basically why that happened. Yeah, man. So the headaches, I'm not sure the cause of them are. I went to emergency room, everything like that. As y'all remember, if you were at the time, I did go to emergency room for that. When it came back up, and there was like no real nothing that came up with that. Like I still go to a neurologist to get that checked, but wasn't anything of concern, like immediate concern that popped up. So just weird stuff, man. It also could be stress, which also leads into the next thing I'm gonna talk about, but it has to do with stress, that caused the hex as well. But pretty much, man. So I told y'all about possible opportunity that I had applied for back in December, right? This was December, so it was the third month. Yeah, third month. But I'm pretty sure I recorded the 3-month update before that happened, right? So y'all probably heard about it in the 4th-month update. But I can actually talk about it now since I got declined or denied from that opportunity completely. I can actually talk about what it was fully about. So I'm not gonna say the company's name, obviously, but I got messaged by a recruiter on LinkedIn, right? This is for a different company. It's not for the company that I recently got denied from. This is from like a similar company. So I got contacted by this company, and I looked up the company, and pretty much it is a software engineering position where you pretty much go through training for 3 months, and then after those 3 months you get set up with clients who need software engineers. So you'll be employed by the company that you do the training with, but you would be working for a client for which the company's like contracted with, right? And after a year or so with working with that client, the client has the opportunity to either, keep the current thing what you're doing, where you're employed with the other company, and you get paid by the company, stuff like that. And they have you as like a contract thing, or the client can sign you full time, and you be working for that client, right? My brother did something similar, but not exactly with software engineering. It's something completely different, but it's pretty much the same thing. Sign up with a company, and then they work with a client, and then the client sign full time. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much the same thing with that. But in this case, you would have to relocate. You have to relocate to where that client is, and stay there. If the client signs you and you work with them, you pretty much stay there until you move on, or if you stay at the company, like you pretty much stay there forever, pretty much. Or if something doesn't work out and the company doesn't need you anymore, the company decide not to work for you, the client decide not to work for you, you know what I'm saying, you have to pretty much have to go for new clients. Like, it's this whole thing, right? But that's his first company. So I applied for it. Right, I applied for it, and if y'all remember, I think it was like the 4th month update or something like that. I told y'all that one on Reddit, and I stay off Reddit. I completely stay off Reddit. Reddit is just a bad place to go on when it comes to like everything. Lust especially, like PMO especially. But I went on Reddit because I wanted to look this company up, and the best place to see it, because like, of course, there's Glassdoor, there's LinkedIn, there's Indeed, but to hear about people's own like personal opinions and personal experiences with these companies, Reddit was the best place to look at the time, right? So I went on Reddit and I, looked the company up, see people's experiences, and people were saying this company isn't the best. Like it wasn't the best at all. When it comes to like the clients that they're with, stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I wonder if there's anything similar to it. So people posting like pretty much a list of like alternative companies or companies that are similar to that, right? It was like a bunch of them, like maybe like 8, 9, 12, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them. I can't remember the exact number. So I was like, you know what? The more the merrier, right? The more I apply for, the more opportunities I have, right? So I applied to a bunch of them, right? Every single one of them I see, I applied to them, right? And for the first one I applied for, I do this technical test, whatever. I fail it, right? Not completely, but I fail it, and that was pretty much that for that, right? And out of all the companies that I had applied for, only 4 of them contacted me. The first one I applied for, which I didn't pass, and then they had this whole training thing, but me doing more research on the company, I just decided not to partake in that. The second one, they were looking for people who pretty much already had like that experience that the other companies would train you for. So that was, and the pay kind of sucks. So that was that. The third one and the fourth one, right? All right, two I'm gonna talk about. So the third one is the one I recently got declined for, right? Completely. So with this one, I got contacted, and there was an informational session that I was supposed to join, but when I went to go schedule it, the times that they were didn't work my schedule. So I was told to if I had any questions to contact the recruiter. So I contacted the recruiter. I was like, hey, like, is there any time like I work at this time? Is there any time that I can kind of work out and get information? So they pretty much were like, they pretty much sent me a it's called an aptitude test, right? It's like an aptitude test. It's basically like math and patterns and stuff like that. It's a pretty difficult test, actually. So I got sent that, and it was like, if I pass that, then we can get the information and stuff like that and kind of move on with the process. So I take it, right? And it was sort of difficult, right? It wasn't terrible, but it was kind of difficult, right? So yeah, I take it, I pass it, and then I get signed up with a behavioral interview and it's like a behavioral interview / informational session, whatever. So in that next part, I get the, I get the interview. Well, first was the informational part. So they were telling me about the company and everything, how the process works and everything like that. And if I had any questions, I asked the questions, and then the behavioral interview part came, and I prepared for it. I actually prepared for it. I had a document with all my answers, everything like that, my scenarios. So I did that, passed with flying colors. She's like, they said that I did pretty well. So I did pretty well on it. I did really well, actually, and that was that, right? So the next part, and for those of y'all who applied for a company like this, y'all probably will know what company it is based on my next part I'm gonna tell you. But if you don't worry about it, or you can probably figure it out yourself. But I'm not gonna say the company's name, obviously. And by this point, I did research on the company, and the clients that the company works with and the company itself is really good compared to all the other ones I applied for. Like, someone's actually really, really good. Got really good reviews, really good clients, stuff like that. So I look forward to it, right? And this one was supposedly the only company because before, when you had to relocate, you would not know or have a choice in where you relocate. It's kind of wherever it is you have to go, right? This one was more of you kind of pick what location you would want to be in. They have a list, and you can kind of pick up where you would want to be, and if you would make it in, they would put you with clients that are in that area, right? So that was my idea. I actually was really interested in Atlanta, right? Either Atlanta or Texas. That's what I was really interested in. So when I brought it up, they pretty much told me how I can apply for one of those locations, and then they just opened up nationwide. And nationwide, you're open to moving anywhere, right? And the thing about nationwide, it's less competition supposedly, and when you pick a location where you want to go, they don't give you relocation assistance, but if you do nationwide, they give you relocation assistance, right? So yeah, I meant to pick nationwide. So the next part of the process was pretty much what's called a web dev course, right? So pretty much what you had to do was, there's like a miniature course that they sign you up for, and it's similar to the courses that you kind of take when you were in the training, if you were to make it. And at the end of it, there was a programming type of assignment that you had to do. It was similar to what the examples you do throughout the lesson, but you had to tweak it yourself and meet all the requirements, right? And I had 2 weeks to do that. I did it in 1 week, right? I did this around the time of Christmas break, and it's a 2 week assignment. I did it in 1 week because I had prior programming experience. Obviously, as y'all know, I went to college. I graduated with a bachelor's of science degree in game programming, so I have my experience in programming. So I was able to do it in 1 week. Submitted it, everything like that. Got my score back. It was a perfect score. It was out of 8 points, so I got 8 out of 8, right? And I would show you the screenshot, but again, I don't want to put that information out there and stuff like that, the company or everything like that. So just know, I got perfect score, got great comments on it. So I was doing pretty good. I was feeling pretty good on myself. You know what I'm saying? Feeling really good. And let me tell you, I spent a good amount of time on that program, and you know, not to dwell on it, right? Not to dwell on it because it wasn't for me at the end of the day, but I did spend a lot of time on that program. I even went to a heading, stuff like that, try to get this program to work. As y'all know, when you program and something doesn't work, you kind of don't want to quit it, and you kind of don't want to take a break. You kind of just want to figure it out, stuff like that. So pretty much all that, but eventually got to work, right? Obviously. So after that, as y'all know, if y'all were around the time, you would know it was a group interview. Like I told y'all about it, right? It was a group interview. And it was like weeks later at that point. So I took the day off. I took 2 days off. I took a day off for the group interview for company number 3, and I took a day off for an interview for group number 4. Or not group number 4. I took a day off for company number 3 and took a day off for company number 4. All right. Now let me go back to company number 4. Company number 4 actually contacted me like I was halfway into the process of company number 3. Right. So around the time I finished the web dev course, company number 4 had contacted me. Right. I did a behavioral interview. I did a technical interview and a video response interview. Passed those. So for company number 4, it was just a live face-to-face technical interview and behavioral interview, and for group 2, I was the group interview, and they're back to back. It was literally one day after the other. So I took both those days off, and I was extremely nervous. For this group interview, right? Because I was really into this company. I was like, man, this company's really good, and it was this whole thing, man, because with either one of these companies, if I pass the interview, right? If I pass the interview and I get into one of these companies, I have to relocate, so I would get my own place, right? I'd be forced in a good way to get my own place, right? And everything, I get a higher salary, and everything would, fall into place, right? So I do a group interview. Group interview was really fun. I'm not gonna say what it was about, but It was really fun. It was more of like a game activity. It wasn't like like an actual interview. It was just like a game. Just kind of see how the group work together, right? How you work in a group. Do well in that. The other company's interview, the technical interview, set me up because they asked questions that you would actually learn during the training portion. Like they asked me that, so obviously there were things I knew and things I didn't know. So yeah, I failed that, but I found out pretty fast. But I pretty much already knew I failed that. So when it came to so company number 4 is out, right? And when it came to company number 3, that same week they were doing decisions to see who would get accepted to the program and who wouldn't, right? So I'm here, right? And it's just a time where it's bad, right? Because I was so nervous because like I'm thinking like, man, like everything is set for me. Everything is set for me if I get in this company. You know what I'm saying? Like everything will fall right into place. I don't like this, like the job I'm at right now. I was like, I don't like this job. Like, and the job isn't the best. I'm not gonna lie, the pay isn't the best, the job isn't the best, but it's a job. At the end of the day, God gave me the job. Is what it is. I'm not complaining about it, right? So I was thinking all this stuff, right? And with all this stress, I was relapsing. Right? Nobody's fault but mine, but I was letting the stress get to me. And yeah, so it wasn't the best as far as PMO, but I digress, right? So it was 3 days of decisions they were making. And the very last day, right? Because the deadline was like Friday at the end of the day, right? So at pretty much the very last minute of that Friday, I got an email. I didn't get in to that start date, but they were gonna put me in consideration for the other start dates. So I had applied for a start date in March, but then I was asked if I wanted to apply to try for a start date in February, which is an earlier start date. So I was like, you know what? It's earlier, why not, right? So for that earlier start date, I did not make it in, but there are 3 alternative start dates that were available, right? So I was like, okay. I didn't get denied, right? And I was told that I passed all the interviews and everything like that. Like in the same email said I passed the group interview and everything. So I passed everything. And I was like, you know what? I'll leave it up to God and I'll wait, right? Because obviously if I passed all this stuff, right? And I'm told that I'm just gonna get put into a different start date, I'll be good. Right? So fast forward, and it is the week of the decision days for the first alternative start date, right? I'm like, okay, cool, right? I'm like, if I don't make it to this one, is what it is. I have 2 more dates, right? So, and for this first alternative start date, it wasn't for software engineering, it's for data engineering. So it was still programming, but it wasn't as, you know, you weren't gonna be focused on Java, you'd be focused on Python, pretty much. So, but at this point, I was like, you know what? I just want a programming job, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So, decision day comes, and it's literally the last day, the last minute, even later than the first one. And I'm really sitting on the toilet, right? Sitting on the toilet about to take a shower because I worked out. I had worked out right before. I was really on the toilet about to go take a shower. And I checked my email. I got an email that I have been completely, and these aren't the exact words, but this is pretty much the message. I got completely denied or declined from this company, and yeah, pretty much they wish me luck in my job search, and that's pretty much it. There's no reapplying, there's no nothing like that, and that's it. Said and done. So pretty much all the time and the effort and the stressing and the time off and stuff like that I put into this company, and pretty much passed everything. And by the way, I did not get any explanation on why I didn't make it in. So yeah, but pretty much all that stuff that I put into it amounted to nothing at the end, right? So that was that. But I know that God had that not happen for a reason. So it is what it is. At this point in time of me recording this, I still don't know. Like I still don't know with a reasoning, right? But I know there is a reasoning because everything happened in my life that, at the time in my head was negative. God showed me why that happened. So it is what it is, and as everybody tells me, which is very true, God has something better for me that's gonna come my way, right? So it is what it is, right? And this is a longer video, longer update. Probably the longest update that I'm doing for this 6 month of growth. Just because I had to tell that story. So I didn't go into detail about the whole scenario, stuff like that, and now I did. So that's pretty much that. That's pretty much how this period between the 4th month and 5th month went. But it is what it is, right? That just means I'll be in Jersey longer. It means I'll be living with my parents longer. Which sucks. But I digress, right? I just gotta stay with this job longer. Just keep doing what I'm doing now, and just let God lead the way. At the end of the day. So, yeah, man. I'm feeling pretty positive right now. Not 100% positive, but feeling pretty positive. I'm just letting things flow, letting things go in life, and just, what I'm saying, letting the growth keep on coming and just let God lead. Right, so that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it for the 5th month update, man. Again, that was a pretty long one, but I had to tell that story, so appreciate y'all for watching, man. 1 more month left until the 6 month growth are over. I'm feeling pretty good so far, man. I'm feeling pretty good. Just the growth overall from me from September to now is just huge, man. Even with all this things happening in my life and the mistakes I've made, stuff like that, during this process, I still have grown a lot. So really awesome, man. And with that being said, I'll catch y'all next one. Your brother Aaron out. Peace.